Never waste a good crisis. And when it comes to the economic crisis, don't waste it when it can have a very positive impact.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste.
The way we're going to win over the long term is not just militarily. We've got to win over hearts and minds. And what that means is we've got to invest in countries that have no educational infrastructure and have no means for young people to get ahead. We've got to give them a stake in creating the kind of world order that I think all of us would like to see.
A new world order can emerge.
Microscopic tag being planted in a person's body to track his every movement. You will rule on that, mark my words.
A chip and everybody would be the universal monetary system par excellence, because there'd be no escape from it.
2 decades after the end of the Cold War, we face a cruel irony of history. The risk of a nuclear confrontation between nations has gone down, but the risk of nuclear attack has gone up.
There is a new terror study out, a bit frightening too, getting our attention today, warning the U.S. of a clear and present danger on a massive scale. It's called an electromagnetic pulse attack, otherwise known as EMP. R.P. Eddies, former director of terrorism of the White House's National Security Council, here to talk through it. Good morning, R.P. Welcome back.
Morning, Bill.
How would you describe this EMP?
Well, an electromagnetic pulse is a result of a nuclear explosion or another weapon that releases a wave of electrons that will fry every electronic gizmo or tool that civilization needs to survive.
Who would likely use a weapon like that?
Well, we know that major civilizations, major nations have built electromagnetic pulse weapons. They're a potentially very effective weapon, but they're not that complicated to make, and it's likely that terrorists could actually make some of the weapons, or countries like Iran and North Korea could use their nuclear weapons to create an electromagnetic pulse.
Of Scripture should guide our public policy. Should we go with Leviticus, which suggests slavery is okay? Or we could go with Deuteronomy, which suggests stoning your child if he strays from the faith? Or should we just stick to the Sermon on the Mount, a passage that is so radical that it's doubtful that our own Defense Department would survive its application? Folks haven't been reading their Bible.
Steve, 32 now with only 2 weeks left of 2009. We're taking a look back at some of the most interesting healthcare discoveries of the past year. Joining us is Fox 9 medical expert Dr. Raquel Giorgio to talk about it. Good morning. Good morning. First, the U.S. has been adding fluoride to its public water supply for decades, and that's, of course, to prevent tooth decay. Well, now researchers from Japan are suggesting that we add lithium. So why is that?
Well, they're actually not suggesting it, but they're certainly looking into it. Lithium is a medication that in prescription doses treats mood disorders in people with bipolar disorder or manic depressive illness. And what these researchers found in Japan is that lithium is present in trace amounts in the normal water supply in some communities. And in those communities, they have a lower suicide rate. And so they're really investigating whether trace amounts of lithium can just change the mood in a community enough to really, in a positive way, without having the bad effects of lithium, to really affect the mood and decrease the suicide rate. Very interesting concept. You know, it's the same reason why we put iodine and salt, fluoride and water. There's many different examples of when we put trace amounts of chemicals in the normal supply of food or water to help people's health. Right.
Although this is the first where they're actually affecting people's moods and, the brain. So that